Told you guys in the last video that I tend to be more of a fearful avoidant. I like to meet people where they're at. I like to speak their love language, but I understand how that can be overwhelming and that I can come off as too much because sometimes it looks like we're being way too overly reliant on that person. I mean, if we have a bad interaction with them, it really can dictate our moods. Before I get into the video, if you want my help personally, the quickest way to get into contact with me is through my website at www.fruitfulseeds.com. I did a video called 5 Signs that a dismissive avoidant is falling in love, and I wanted to speak more to that fearful avoidant side. Here's what I think that a lot of coaches get wrong. You see these channels that are more AI, or there's more people that are pandering to a certain type of mindset or belief system. And I would say that usually when someone says, an avoidant overall, like I've fallen into that trap too, where I've gotten into the clickbaity titles and I didn't really get specific like I did before when I first started this channel. I think it's important to differentiate a fearful avoidant from a dismissive avoidant because they both navigate very differently and have very different wounds within their respective attachment styles. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 6 things that a fearful avoidant will do when they're starting to fall in love. A little bit of a disclaimer though, this content isn't meant to convince anyone to stay in a relationship where they feel their needs aren't being met. If you feel this relationship isn't for you or you can no longer hold your tongue, then I would advise for you to give some serious thought on whether this relationship is right for you. And the first one is they get close and then they pull back. Now we all know about the fearful avoidant push-pull dynamic, the hot and coldness that they have. And this is kind of a classic thing that they do. They have an avoidant pattern, which makes them pull back and want to have their autonomy. But then they also have that anxious pattern where they need to be around you. They just seek that intimacy. So what you'll see when you see this push-pull dynamic is they only get scared in relationships where they feel like this person is valuable. I was just coaching a lady and she said that she doesn't understand why she felt this way. She didn't understand why she decided to pull back for a week from a guy that was going really well. Actually, he was the one that was more avoidant in the beginning, but as soon as he started to get comfortable and wanted to spend more time with her, that's when hers started to trigger. She said in the past, usually what I would do is I just cut guys off and just move on with my life. But there's something about this that makes me want to just take a brief break and then come back to it because this level of intimacy is actually kind of scary. The second sign is they open up ways emotionally, ways that they don't normally do with other people. One thing that I did with this lady that I coached was I told her to lay out the blueprint for how to keep that person in your life. And what I mean by that is you're giving them an opportunity to show up differently and not trigger you in such a way. For example, if this was someone that you weren't falling in love with, you'd be okay with just letting this connection die. But because you're reaching out to me, you're having this conversation, it lets me know that you're falling in love with this person. And in order to keep that connection healthy, you need to tell them something like, hey, I noticed that when I texted you last night, you took a while to respond. Like you waited to the next morning. And for me, that signals a red flag. Now, she was good at opening up to him emotionally, but she struggled to lay out a boundary and to communicate in such a way that is actually more vulnerable, because you may think that a fearful avoidant is being vulnerable by talking about their fears and their past experiences. They're really not. It's more surface level because they can tell that to, guys on the street. When it comes to you and you having that power to hurt them again, that is when the true vulnerability shows up. The third thing is they show care but worry about depending on you. And that's more of that avoidance side coming out. They don't want to be too much. They're very intense, right? I told you guys in the last video that I tend to be more of a fearful avoidant. I like to meet people where they're at. I like to speak their love language, but I understand how that can be overwhelming and that I can come off as too much because sometimes it looks like we're being way too overly reliant on that person. I mean, if we have a bad interaction with them, it really can dictate our moods. When a fearful avoidant is falling in love, we kind of just don't even care about that. We feel like this is our most authentic self. We're not going to tap dance around and try to put on some type of mask for you. We're going to be exactly who we are. That's if we're falling in love. The fourth thing is the fearful avoidant will come back after they're able to regulate their nervous system again. They return to the connection because the relationship matters to them. Let's say that this was someone that they didn't really see much of a future with. And they weren't at that falling in love stage, because fearful avoidants tend to break things off very quickly. You can do one little thing and they don't care about setting a boundary or giving you a blueprint on how to be in a relationship with them, because they don't see you as a true match going into the future. But the advice that I give my clients when they're in a relationship with a fearful avoidant is you have to understand that when that person takes distance, they may not come back out of shame. And this is why I say, hey, reach out after a couple days, 2 or 3 days, and just check in and see how they're doing. That lets them know that, hey, this person is not angry with me. They're okay with, how I navigate things. And they don't make me feel more shame by, hey, why did you do this? Why didn't you do that? And I have a video that I just did, why you must be willing to walk away from a fearful avoidant, because in order for you to prove your worth to them, you have to show that you're not okay with certain behaviors, and they actually respect you for that. If you can illustrate calmness, patience, but boundaries to them, they really start to see that person as someone they can fall in love with, because it's something that feels safer than the volatility that they had before. The fifth thing that you'll see is they become more sensitive to rejection or jealousy. They notice the shifts in your energy, and they're hyper vigilant when they are trying to abandonment proof themselves. So if you start to shift and you're someone that they're falling in love with, they won't let those things slide. They become more jealous. They may get a little bit more on edge about rejection. Like if this is an example that just happened to one of my clients. If you flake on them on a date or something, and it could be like it could have been a genuine mistake, they will pick up on that. And what they will do is they won't call you out on it. The majority of them that I know, what they'll do is they'll turn inward and they'll say, you know what? I'm just gonna take note of that. But this is another way that they are willing to stick in there and give you a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt in those type of situations. And the sixth thing that they'll do is they'll try to improve communication and show healthier behaviors. They'll model the behaviors that you're showing to them. If you're someone who is a healthy attacher, they will attempt change. They will go to the seminars. They'll go to the workshops. They'll take the attachment style quizzes. They will dive deep into personal development in order to keep your relationship. But I will let you guys know that doesn't mean that they'll be perfect. There will be times where they'll protest. They will, maybe even be a little bit more explosive than they should be. But the one thing that you will see afterwards is they'll feel a deep regret or remorse for whatever it is that they've done to you, because they truly don't want to lose the person that they're falling in love with. So those are the 6 that I have for you guys. And if you found this video of any value, please like it, comment, and share. And always remember, when you go and be loved, you'll never have to find it. God bless.